Hey then everyone, Juan Romero here from SwitchWatch, back with an exciting update for HYPERCHARGE Unboxed, this cooperative first and third person shooter including multiplayer, whether it's split screen or online, where you play as action figure Sergeant Max Ammo, where your task is to prevent the hypercore from being destroyed with these wave-based tower defense mechanics. What I love about this is it really does remind me of the toys that I used to play with in my childhood, from your green soldiers to spinners and all sorts. Now, Major Update 4 is the biggest to launch on the Nintendo Switch. It really does have a great number of changes and improvements, also fixes based on the feedback from the player base. So we're going to talk about 10 of those now. Let's jump straight in. I'm going to start with the DLC, which is the paid part of this. It's called a DLC, a Breaker and Midas pack, and this includes a Breaker action figure and a Midas action figure, along with 13 new skins and weapon materials. Please be aware these are purely cosmetic and do not give you any extra in-game advantages. Now, relatively cheap for this DLC pack. The rest that I'm going to talk about is absolutely free, and please remember the game currently has 30% off over in the United States. It's down to just $13.99. Now let's talk about all of the update, this major update, which is from here if you've already got the game absolutely free. Now, the first thing to mention is that new play menu. There's always been a great amount of feedback from the playing community on HYPERCHARGE. One of the most requested changes was that play menu. It's now been completely redesigned, easier to navigate and more intuitive. We've tested it and have to agree it's a much nicer menu and more intuitive to use. Next up, let's talk about all of those new enemies and bosses. There's a bunch of new ones to take down, including the B-Robot, a worthy boss who can launch multiple plasma bolts and rockets, and if it gets close enough, will try and knock you out with its ferocious punch. With its jump boost, it can follow you mostly anywhere. And if you hated the spinners in the game that were already in there, you're gonna love the drone enemies. They are another type of swarm enemy and will attack in numbers. Then there are the Ninja Joes, which can chop you in half if you're not careful. They're capable of traversing the environment quickly and have the ability to flip too. This is a Joe you don't want to meet. You also have your spacemen, which look small but are deadly in numbers. Listen out for their sonic booms. And lastly, the tiny trotters can heal those on the battlefield, so make sure they're taken out fast. So a host of new enemies giving you new challenges. Then we have the new weapons. There are a couple of cool new weapons added too, namely the Freeze Ray, which can freeze and shatter multiple enemies, which is a ton of fun, and the Plasma Cannon, which is massively powerful. If fired correctly, it can take out multiple foes, and the Plasma Beam can even bounce off walls, just to make sure you don't hit yourself. Now, this wouldn't be a major update without some new maps, and luckily for you, there are two. Shed of the Dead, well, there's lots of dead, lots of fun to be had here in PvE or PvP. The Lost Isle is a tutorial level which has been reworked and expanded for Deathmatch, Team Deathmatch, and Plague Mode. Plenty of places here that you can use to cover yourself from enemy fire, and lots of places to hide too. So, a couple of great new additions. Now, one of the things I wanted to stress, number 6, is improved jumping. A lot of work has been put in here from the developers, as there was a lot of feedback from the player base. Jumping's been improved yet again. It's a lot less sluggish now, and there's more control of your jump. Vaulting now also feels a lot more snappy. There are 8 new skins that have been included in this update, which include 2 new Cyber Fury heads, Samurai and Cyclone, 2 new Insectoid heads, Charlotte and Squirm, Cyber Fury skins, Dungeons and the King, and 2 new Insectoid skins, Jacket and Ritual. There's also a Nebulon character skin to unlock on the shed level. Now, I don't know about you, but I really enjoyed Plague Mode, but I hated the camper situation in it. Well, luckily for you, this has now been remedied. The mode has been reworked so that players must now earn points by making their way towards randomly activated zones and to hold their ground. The player who accumulates the most points wins. For the infected players, they cannot camp in hard-to-reach spots anymore. Other tweaks include ammo being more scarce, faster movement for infected players, and less weapon knockback when plague players are hit. This mode should make now for a more interesting and fun time. Then there's the radar attachment, which connects to your weapon and allows you to see what angles enemies will attack from. It spawns in the environment but can also be purchased via the shop. It also works in both first person and third person views, and you can also still use weapons, 2 weapons actually, and the radar at the same time, and also enable to show only in your HUD. Lastly, we have boss health bars which have been added. Another feature which has been added due to your feedback is that visual health bar so that players can see how much damage they are doing to their enemy. That, to me, is great news. The guys over at Digital Cyber Cherries, guys who develop HYPERCHARGE, have provided another massive free update, which I think is worthy of your support. Now, if you already own this game, you're getting a lot of this for free, which is absolutely fantastic. And also, if you haven't got the game yet, then remember there is 30% off this game at the moment in the UK, Europe and the US, and you can just press on the link in the description below so you can go over to the page and check out the description for yourself. There is a host of other things which have been updated, numerous fixes and so on and so forth, so we're sure that you're going to absolutely love the game now even more. It's another massive free update, so thanks to the guys over at Digital Cyber Cherries for sponsoring this video. Also, thank you for watching. If you're still watching, you're an absolute legend. I want to know who you are, so leave me a thumbs up in the comments section and let us know what you think of this update. We think that these guys are great. They're always taking on feedback from the player base and continuing even now to update this game. I think that's fantastic news, and we hope to see more of that in the future. So take care everybody, we hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, that'd be fantastic, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell notification so we can notify you when our next video goes live. Take care everybody, we'll see you on the next one.